Everything popped up. I got woofed by all my all my different notifications all at the same time. Like that episode of The Office, The Woof, where they have all these things go off at the same time when you want one's attention. So, I have begun a quest to promulgate this within the whole entire law community. When you want to read a brief, when you want to read an opinion, and write a brief, so you can go back and like remember what a law case was about in your words. Fuck I CRRACCA SubIRAC. Okay. Now you gotta let me explain. It's FCH, pronounced fuck, I CRRACCA, and SubIRAC. And here's what it is. So your facts, your court, and your history are all one segment. Your issue, in general, the description of the basic issue, the conclusion, basically the majority opinion, the rule, which is the extraction of what is said in the majority opinion, the rule that you can apply to other similar fact patterns, the rule of proof, what areas, what other little sub rules that already existed are put together the way they are to make this new rule, application to these facts. So you apply this rule and to the facts as you already wrote them, and that should show you your same as the opinion as the conclusion, the same logic. And then the counter argument and conclusion. So your conclusion of probably basically your dissenting opinions, or if there's no agreement with the losing side of the case, then you just kind of summarize the losing side and like some reasons why that side didn't win. So your counter argument, conclusion, and then application and influence of counter argument / conclusion in law system. This is something that you do want to think about. There are parts of the argument that are pointed to from other cases to make the logic that didn't win a little bit influential. And it happens like Illinois v. Perkins. There's Thurgood Marshall's dissent about the need for an undercover in a prison cell to Mirandize someone who they're asking questions of under the pretext of just being another prisoner or inmate. The argument that Thurgood Marshall made in his dissent was that is a direct interpretation of custodial interrogation, that the person is in custody and the undercover or even the sub-agent, like a CI, if they're a known CI and they're already in, they're not someone who then becomes an informant, but it's someone who is already in an arrangement with the government and therefore a sub-agent of the state is asking questions. That's interrogation. So his view was that no, to uphold the constitutional principles that undergird requirement for Mirandization while in custodial interrogation, that the undercover or the sub-agent of the state would need to Mirandize the person they're questioning. Well, obviously that's not something that anyone's ever going to do in a prison cell. Hi, you have the right to remain silent. Now I'm going to try and get you to agree to some things about some crimes that only you would know as a perpetrator, so that we can go and do this other conspiratorial act. Like, no, you're never going to do that. You're never going to have that happen. It's not really reasonable. But it has become influential in the state of Florida because of the arguments about that relate to due process, and also analogies, I think, with entrapment. That it's an unfair advantage that the government controls all the elements of a situation, so you can set up this extravagant thing where someone then is unduly influenced to give up information about themselves. The person did what it is that logically there's a vigilante in every single person, and there's a retributivist, and then there is someone who believes that it's more important to follow the two-sided axiom that there's a greater disutility in convicting an innocent man than there is in letting a guilty man go free. No one is 100% okay with that. There's always a part of every single human that says, man, that guy did it. Look at OJ. He cut his wife's head off, you know? Well, he's innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, he's innocent criminally. No one thinks that OJ's innocent. No one really truly thinks that. But we say that our country has all these freedoms and has all this economic opportunity, has this great viability partly because of that axiom, that two-sided axiom. So I don't know. It's unfair, maybe. Maybe life isn't fair. But there's arguments in criminal defense. There's arguments to make, that this is a violation of undue influence. It's lack of due process, basic fairness issues. I don't know. I don't like criminal defense all that much in its fullness of what it is. I just think people should, for the most part, what I don't like are the things that are rarefied cases. And I think there's other things. Most people will see there's a set of types of crimes where you'd be all right knowing your friend got away with one of them as long as they knock their poor behavior off. Like, knock that shit off. Like, don't do that anymore or whatever. Drunk driving is it's a bad example. It knows no strata of society. It knows no profession. Alcohol just kind of takes people's decision making over for the moment when it does that. When people allow it to, you just have drank too much and make a bad decision. Some people have a pattern of that. That's that. That's why we have rehabilitation built into the law system. I do question whether it's a good thing, whether people should just continue to take their hard lumps and then choose to rehabilitate themselves of their own totally free will. But that's a whole nother issue. So that's Fuck I Cracka SubIRAC. That's what I think is the best thing to do. It really helps me to look at the counter arguments and the sub issues. So it's just my little way of remembering it. Fuck I Cracka SubIRAC. All right.